You know that feeling? Stepping off the plane, that sort of buzz of being somewhere new, but then that tiny voice pops up. Okay, how do I actually talk to people here?
Yeah, that little moment of uncertainty where the usual sounds just fade.
Exactly. And that's precisely where we're diving in today.
We're honing in on, well, the language you really need for travel, making sure you can get by, understand what's going on, using English.
And we're using the English for Travel student book as our guide for this. Think of it like a quick start guide full of essential phrases for those real travel moments. It's designed for intensive learning.
It really is. And what's great is its focus. It's practical, not about fancy language, just clear communication, getting you from the plane through customs to your hotel smoothly.
Totally. And the authors, they really know their stuff. We've got Yoshito Miyazawa, former diplomat, worked in finance in London, set up language schools.
Right, quite the background. And James Webb's serious linguistics credentials from Oxford, UCL, taught all over. They've seen what actually works in practice.
So they get both the language learning side and the reality of being out there trying to communicate internationally.
Exactly. They understand the hurdles.
So our mission today, for you listening, is basically to pull out the absolute core phrases and communication tips from this book. We're talking airplane announcements, hotel check-ins, asking directions, the lot.
Consider it your fast track to feeling a bit more confident with travel English.
Okay, let's jump in. Right at the start of the journey. You're on the plane. What's first?
Well, usually you get that announcement from the captain, and they use some specific words like cruising altitude.
Right. That's just how high the plane flies steadily.
Exactly. And airspeed, the plane speed compared to the air. Plus instructions, seatbelts, electronics, the usual safety stuff.
That comforting voice saying, we're up here, settle in. Then the cabin crew comes around.
Offering maybe a light snack and beverage or mentioning the in-flight entertainment, just making things comfortable.
And soon enough, you'll probably want something yourself. This is where politeness comes in, right?
Definitely. The book highlights using a like. So I would like, instead of just saying I want, it's softer.
More considerate. Like instead of want water, you'd say,
I'd like some water, please. It just lands better, doesn't it?
Yeah. And the book gives examples like she would like to book a table or they would like a room with a view. It sounds much less demanding.
That little word would does a lot of heavy lifting in English politeness. It turns a demand into more of a desire.
Makes sense. And then, of course, questions. How do we ask things politely?
Well, the book covers yes-no questions using auxiliaries like would. So take a statement. You would like a first-class ticket.
Okay.
To make it a yes-no question, you just flip it. Would you like a first-class ticket? Simple inversion.
Right. And if you need more info, like when or where,
you just add a question word like when, where, why, right at the start of that yes-no structure. So when would you like to go to London?
Got it. Building blocks.
Exactly. And exercise 3 shows this buildup clearly. Statement, yes, no question, then a WH question.
And it even drills down to the absolute basics, like introducing yourself, using am, is, are.
Can't get much more fundamental than I am Naomi or you are a travel agent. It's the bedrock.
Okay, so fundamentals covered, drinks may be served. Now the real business. Getting the trip properly started. Travel arrangements, the airport.
Right. The book uses a dialogue between Naomi and a travel agent. Super useful phrases here. She starts, I'd like a return air ticket, please.
Return ticket, key phrase, means flying there and back.
Yep. Or round trip in the U.S., as the book points out. Good to know both.
And she's specific on dates.
Yeah.
Take the flight on Sunday and come back next Friday. Very clear.
Then the agent asks about class. Would you like first class? Naomi's replied, no, economy class. Direct. Efficient.
And the polite wrap-up, thank you. Little things matter.
They really do. Okay, next stop. The airport itself can be a bit overwhelming.
Definitely. So asking for help is crucial. The book has Naomi at the information desk asking, excuse me, where's the check-in desk?
And notice the contraction. Where's for where is. Very common in spoken English. The clerk replies, that's in Terminal 2. Again, that's for that is.
Good point. Makes listening easier if you expect those. Then the follow-up, is there a shuttle bus?
And the answer, yes, there's one right in front here. There's, for there is. These contractions are everywhere.
So you find the terminal. Next up, check-in. More essential phrases incoming.
For sure. The clerk greets you. Naomi confirms, is this the check-in for the flight to London?
Then the document request. May I have your ticket and your passport, please? May I? Sounds a bit more formal, yeah.
Generally, yes. It's often used for polite requests in service situations. Then handling bags. Could you put your baggage on this scale?
And baggage or luggage. The book mentions these are usually uncountable nouns.
That's right. You don't usually say luggages, just luggage or maybe pieces of luggage. A little grammar quirk.
Okay. Then Naomi asks about her smaller bag. Can I take this briefcase as hand baggage? Using can I this time?
Yeah, can I is a bit more general, maybe slightly less formal than may I, for permission. Both are common.
Then the seat preference question. Aisle or a window seat? Naomi wants an aisle.
And after getting her boarding pass, she asks, can I board the aircraft now? But it's not quite time.
Right. The clerk says, could you wait for the boarding announcement? There's a process.
Which leads perfectly into the actual announcement. Eurasia Airlines Flight 401 is now boarding. Proceed to Gate 18.
And the clerk confirms, boarding now at Gate 18. A whole sequence right there.
And exercise 3 in the book drills these polite request forms. May I ask you a question? Or could you pass me the butter?
Well, exercise 4 focuses on permission with can I? Can I pay by check? Or taking things on the plane, getting the right level of formality.
The book also quickly revisits yes-no questions with to be, like, is there a shuttle bus? And reminds you where not goes in negatives.
And reinforces that politeness point again. Please and thank you. Simple but effective.
Absolutely crucial.
Okay, check-in done, boarding pass, clutch tight. You're at the gate. What happens now?
Well, you'll likely hear those gate announcements. Usually start with, attention please, then flight details, and the boarding call.
And they often call people up in groups, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Priority boarding first class, business, anyone needing extra time or help, they want to let them settle without the rush.
Makes sense. Then the rest of us.
Then general boarding, often by zones or row numbers, you might hear, we are now inviting passengers in Zone 2, rows 16 through 35. Helps manage the queue.
Keeps things flowing, hopefully, until finally.
We would now like to invite all remaining passengers to board. That's your cue if you weren't in an earlier group. Exercise 1 helps you listen for key words like assistance, rows, board.
So you're on the plane now, finding your seat. Might need a hand with that carry-on.
Common situation. The book has Naomi asking politely, excuse me, could you help me put this bag in the overhead compartment?
Nice and clear. And the flight attendants reply.
Certainly. There you go. Simple, helpful.
Then you usually get another announcement right from the service director.
Yep. The welcome aboard speech. Confirms the destination, flight number, apologies if there's been a delay in departure.
And they might give a reason, like waiting for takeoff clearance.
Exactly. Or being currently second in line for takeoff. They'll also remind you, please fasten your seatbelts, secure all baggage securely, essential safety points.
Exercise 2 tests if you got all that key info.
And exercise 3 is a quick check. Where are you? Where are you going? Is the flight on time? Basic comprehension.
This part also revisits the verb to be, which crops up everywhere.
It does. As a main verb, Naomi's at the airport. A linking verb, Naomi is an accountant, Naomi is happy. Or an auxiliary for progressive, Naomi is writing. Or passive, the letter is written.
Understanding those different jobs it does is really fundamental.
Absolutely. Exercise 6 gives practice with present simple versus present progressive.
And exercise 7 is about softening commands, turning fasten your seatbelts into.
Really, please fasten your seatbelts. Or even, could you please fasten your seatbelts? Adding please or using could makes a big difference in tone.
Right, much less abrupt.
Ah,
Okay, airborne, settled in. What about interacting with the crew during the flight?
the classic meal service interaction. The flight attendant might ask, fish or chicken?
And if you didn't catch it.
A simple, sorry, with a rising tone works perfectly to ask them to repeat. Naomi chooses, I'll have the chicken, please. Notice I'll have short for I will have.
Common contraction. And for drinks.
She has a specific request. A Diet Coke, no ace, please. Clear and polite.
Okay, but what if things aren't quite right? The book covers problems too, right?
Yes, the situational English section is great for this. Example, someone's in your seat.
Awkward. What do you say?
The suggested phrase is polite but clear. Excuse me, I think you were in my seat.
Non-confrontational. Hopefully they check their boarding pass and realize.
Exactly, like the example response. Oh, let me check. Yes, I'm sorry. My mistake.
Another common one. Feeling cold.
Just ask. Excuse me, could you give me another blanket? The attendant might even offer a pillow, too.
And the dreaded non-working headset.
Again, polite request. Excuse me, my headset doesn't work. Could you have another one?
Simple. Effective. Okay, flight's nearing the end. What happens then?
You'll get the arrival cards and customs declaration forms handed out. Big tip here.
Yeah.
The announcement often says, fill in the forms in BLOCK letters.
All caps. Why is that?
Just makes them much easier for officials to read quickly and accurately. Super important.
Good tip. And you'll need a pen.
Leading to Naomi's request. Excuse me, may I borrow a pen?
And the attendant might say something like, I don't have one on me, but I'll get one for you.
Standard helpful response. Then, as landing gets closer, the inevitable question.
Do you know when we will be landing? Everyone wants to know.
And the attendant gives an estimate in about 2 hours. Helps you plan.
Okay, touchdown. You've landed, grabbed your bags. Next stop, immigration or passport control.
Yep. The officer will likely start with, may I have your passport and arrival card, please?
Hand those over. Then they ask why you're visiting.
Usually, what's the nature of your visit? Business or pleasure? For tourists, the standard reply is, pleasure. I'm on holiday.
How long are you staying?
How long are you going to stay? Answer directly. About 1 week.
They might ask your job, too.
What is your occupation? Have a simple answer ready. Naomi says, I work as an accountant.
And proof of leaving.
Do you have a return ticket? Best to have it handy, like Naomi does. Yes, here it is.
Then hopefully it's...
That's fine. Enjoy your stay. And a polite thank you from you seals the deal.
This section also quickly covers have in questions and negatives using do.
And Lato mentions the be plus going plus to plus verb structure for future plans. Useful stuff.
Past immigration, next hurdle. Customs.
Right. This is about declaring goods over the duty-free limit. The book lists the UK allowances useful to know beforehand.
Definitely saves hassle. It mentions the green and red channels.
Yeah. Green channel if you got nothing to declare you're within the limits for alcohol, tobacco, gifts, etc. Red channel if you do have things to declare because you're over the limits.
So the customs officer might start with,
would you like to put your luggage on here? Maybe ask for your passport again.
and if you're in the green channel, they might double check.
Yeah. You understand that you've come into the green channel and it means you have nothing to declare. Just confirming you know the rules.
And here, the book notes, you've come, uses the present perfect tense.
Right. It links the past action coming into the channel to the present situation, being in the channel with nothing to declare. It highlights present relevance.
Got it. What if you do have something?
Be honest. They might ask specifically, do you have any spirits in excess of the duty-free allowance? Or are you bringing any gifts?
Naomi mentions whiskey as a gift, but says it's within the limit.
And the officer concludes, okay, enjoy your visit. Smooth sailing.
Phew! Passport stamped, bags cleared. Time to find somewhere to sleep. Accommodation.
The book shows Naomi at an agency right at Heathrow. Clerk asks, can I help you?
Naomi states her need. I'm looking for some accommodation, please. Then the name spelling.
Could you spell it out for me, please? Very common, especially with international names. A-B-E.
Then room type. A single room with bathroom, please. And price.
That back and forth, how much will it be? Will £50 be all right? Yes, that'll be all right. Remember, UN is the British pound symbol.
And length of stay. 5 nights, please. Straightforward booking.
Okay, room sorted for now. But how to get to central London, Naomi asks.
What's the fastest way to get to central London? Using a superlative fastest.
Good point. The clerk suggests the Heathrow Express train, gives directions to the station, mentions the quick 15-minute journey time to Paddington.
Very efficient. So, Naomi gets to her hotel in London. Check-in time.
Receptionist greets her. Welcome, can I help you? Naomi says. I have a reservation here under the name of Abe.
Name spelling again, probably. Then filling out a form.
Yeah, the registration form. They'll ask for her passport and payment method. Is Visa okay? Is how she checks about her card.
Practical questions next. Can I get dinner here? What time is breakfast?
Receptionist gives the times, mentions other things like internet in the lobby, hands over the key room, 425, offers help with luggage.
I'll get a porter to take your luggage up. This uses those causative verbs the book mentions. Gets someone to do something.
Exactly. And the book also mentions the emphatic do, like we do serve dinner, for adding emphasis.
Right. Okay, settled in the room. But what if you need something during your stay? Or there's a problem?
Happens all the time. First, a simple request. A wake-up call. Naomi phones down. Could you give me a wake-up call tomorrow morning at 7, please?
And the front desk confirms. Not a problem. Easy. But then, uh-oh, the heating's broken.
She calls again. The heating in my room is not working. It's very cold.
And they promise to send someone immediately to fix it. Good response. What about noisy neighbors?
Another common issue. Naomi asks. Could you tell the people in the room next to me to be quiet? They were being very loud.
And the receptionist says, absolutely. I'll ask them to keep the noise down. Takes action.
Then, needing a photocopy. Could you tell me where I could make a photocopy?
She finds out where, asks about the charge, the cost, and finds 5p per copy reasonable.
Finally, feeling unwell. Needs a doctor. Is there a hospital near here? I would like to see a doctor.
They suggest one nearby in the vicinity, and she asks them to book a taxi.
At the hospital, the doctor asks, what seems to be the trouble? Naomi describes her symptoms. I have a sore throat. My back aches. Ache and sore are useful words here.
Doctor checks her temperature, asks how long she's felt ill. Diagnosis, probably flu, gives a prescription.
With instructions, take 1 tablet every 4 hours. The book also matches symptoms like headache, stomach ache, feeling dizzy to the right phrases. Very handy.
Okay, feeling better, hopefully. Time to explore. Getting around London, taxis, and the tube.
The famous London black cab. You look for the taxi sign lit up means it's free. Naomi hails one. Taxi!
Taxi? Driver asks, where to, madam? Naomi. Covent Garden, please. Royal Opera House.
Yeah.
Specific. Worried about time.
Do you think I'll make it? The driver reassures her, takes a good route. Then the fare. How much is it?
And the tip, keep the change. Common practice.
Then there's the tube, London Underground, essential for getting around. Naomi asks for advice. Could you tell me how to ride the tube?
Gets told to find a map, figure out the stations, buy a travel card for the right zones, zones 1 and 2 for central London.
Maybe get an off-peak card if possible. Have the card ready for the ticket barrier. And a useful tip.
Carry some small change. Coins.
Yeah, for the restrooms at some stations, they might charge a small fee. The book notes directions often use imperatives, command forms like turn left, go straight.
Clear and direct.
Okay.
Transportation sorted. Time for sightseeing, asking the concierge for tips.
Right. Naomi asks for sightseeing advice. The concierge explains their job guiding guests to attractions, landmarks.
When Naomi asks where to start, the suggestion is Big Ben.
Described as famous. The concierge clarifies Big Ben is the bell inside the clock tower. Mentions it's the largest 4-faced chiming clock and looks spectacular when illuminated at night.
That phrase, in fact, is highlighted good for adding an interesting detail.
Now, needing directions to specific places, like a post office.
Naomi asks the receptionist. Gets step-by-step instructions. Turn left outside. Go straight ahead. Take the first turning. Keep on the main road. Turn left at the traffic lights.
Yeah.
Using street names like East Street.
And reference points, opposite the theater, mentioning it's within walking distance.
Then she needs a bank. Asks a pedestrian, someone walking.
Gets directions involving going back to the main road, turning right, crossing at a pedestrian crossing, turning to the left onto Duke Street and finding the bank next to the library. Lots of detail.
Exercise 1 helps practice understanding directions like these.
Absolutely. And finally, the fun stuff. Eating out and shopping.
Naomi wants a restaurant recommendation from the concierge. Mentions her budget, up to £50.
Gets pointed towards QQ Brasserie. Popular, good food, maybe live music. Gets directions via the tube, address, phone number. Advised to make a reservation.
Which she does by phone. I'd like to reserve a table for 1 tomorrow evening at 7. The name, Abe. A-B-E. Gives her number.
And the restaurant staff repeats back the details to confirm everything's correct. Good practice.
At the restaurant, ordering time. A starter or appetizer in the U.S.
She has soup. Then filet steak, medium please, ask for a wine recommendation.
The waiter checks in.
Ew.
Is everything all right? Standard service question. Later, she orders coffee and asks for the bill or the check.
The book also briefly shows handling money at a bank, changing traveler's checks, asking about using an ATM or cash machine.
Shopping now. Shoes first. Asking for a different color. Do you have them in white? Checking sizes. Trying them on. How do they feel? Do they fit all right?
Asking about material. Are these shoes leather? Making the decision. I think I'll take them.
Then clothes shopping. Assistant asks, are you being served? Naomi wants a navy blue dress. Unsure of size, asks to be measured.
Tries one on, finds a beige one that fits, confirms it's washable, decides I'll take it. The book also gives a polite way to decline. I'll leave it. Thanks.
Good to know how to say no politely. Okay, trip's nearly over. Time for gifts.
Buying souvenirs. Naomi asks about a scarf. Does this scarf come in beige? Asks if it's on offer, on sale. Buys several. Asks, could you gift wrap them individually? Mentions common souvenirs like mugs, magnets, t-shirts.
Finally, checking out of the hotel. Naomi asks about the checkout time first.
Returns her key, checks the bill, spots a mistake. My bill says £10 for a movie, but I never ordered one. That's absolutely wrong.
Important to speak up if the bill's wrong. The clerk removes the charge. Before leaving, Naomi asks about luggage storage.
Is there somewhere I can leave my bags? A very common request if your flight is later in the day.
So that brings us pretty much to the end of our run-through of the English for Travel book. What are the big takeaways?
Well, number one has to be politeness, I think. Using please, thank you, could you, may I. It just makes everything smoother. And clarity. Being specific helps avoid confusion.
Yeah, definitely. And just knowing these basic phrases for common situations, airports, hotels, ordering food, it really takes the stress out of it, boosts your confidence.
Massively. It makes the whole experience more enjoyable when you feel you can communicate, even at a basic level.
So we really encourage you, if you're planning a trip, maybe review some of these phrases, practice them a bit.
It's definitely worth the effort. It'll pay off when you're actually there.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Think about a past trip. Was there a time you really wished you knew a specific phrase in English? What was it?
Or, looking ahead, beyond these basics, what specific travel words or situations do you think you'll need for your next adventure? Something to ponder.
Good questions. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into travel English.
Hope it was useful. Safe travels, everyone. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're tackling a travel essential. Getting the key English you need for your trips abroad. Think of this as your fast track to feeling, confident and kind of in control when you're in English-speaking countries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Our listener today, you're probably looking for practical knowledge, delivered clearly, efficiently. We want to give you those aha moments, by structuring things logically, keeping it engaging.
Bringing our signature deep dive approach to it all.
Exactly.
And to do just that, we've really immersed ourselves in this fantastic resource, the Travel English booklet. And this isn't just like a surface level thing. It's packed with over 500 important words, expressions, covering 40 different situations you might actually run into while traveling. Plus, it uses helpful images and, realistic conversations to really make the language stick.
It's a really comprehensive guide, actually. The booklet's built around 5 key things that we'll be highlighting.
Yeah.
Carefully chosen essential language, useful pictures.
Visual aids, yeah.
Authentic dialogues, which are great, organization by travel scenario, and phrases you can use straight away. It's all about making learning practical and, memorable.
So get ready, because our first destination on this linguistic journey is the airport. Okay, let's get into it.
Right. The booklet kicks off with a very common experience, airport check-in. It gives us this conversation between a Mr. Fleet and a check-in desk agent, which is honestly a great example of typical airport talk.
Absolutely. And in their chat, we hear those vital phrases. Mr. Fleet needs his ticket and passport, obviously.
Standard stuff.
The agent asks if he wants a window seat or an aisle seat. Then the practical bits, putting his bag on the luggage belt, and that unavoidable topic of baggage allowance and the potential for an excess baggage charge. Finally, he gets his boarding pass and is pointed towards the flight information screen to find his gate number.
And beyond just the dialogue, the booklet expands on related vocabulary that's, crucial for finding your way around an airport. Think about terms like terminal.
Right. Big airports have loads of those.
Yeah, they're like separate mini airports inside the big one, usually for different airlines or, destinations. Your boarding pass tells you which one.
You got to know your flight time or departure time, find the check-in desk, understanding baggage allowance, how much you can bring without paying extra, and what counts as an excess baggage charge can save you some serious cash.
Oh, definitely. It's really worth checking the airline's website beforehand, too, because the rules can be quite different between carriers. Little tip there.
Good tip. And once your bag's on the luggage belt, or baggage conveyor belt, means the same thing.
Yep.
You might head to the departure lounge before hitting the security check-in area.
Security. Where you need to be ready to take out laptops, tablets, anything bigger than a phone, really.
And liquids. Keep those in a clear, resealable bag. It genuinely speeds things up.
It does. Then, eventually, you find your boarding gate and actually board the plane. And let's not forget the key times, arrival time and what the plane does, land, and take off.
And fingers crossed you don't encounter these, but you need to know delayed or even canceled.
Yeah, unfortunately. The booklet also gives some really useful expressions for this bit. Things you might say like, "Where's the check-in desk, please?" Or, "Which terminal does the plane leave from?"
"Can I have a window seat, please?" Or questions like, "Do you know which gate the plane is leaving from?" And maybe, Where's boarding gate 34, please?
And what the agent might say back, can I see your passport, please? Did you pack the bags yourself? That's a common one.
Yeah, security question?
Or the bad news, your plane is delayed 45 minutes. Or the standard choices, would you like a window seat or an aisle seat? And finally, here's your boarding card. You'll be boarding at gate number 34.
Okay, so you've successfully navigated check-in.
Go!
Next up, you're actually on the plane. This is where it gets interesting.
Right, once you're settled in your seat, you'll likely hear a few standard announcements. The booklet covers the basics, starting with safety instructions. Fasten your seatbelt. Secure all baggage. Make sure your seat and table tray are upright.
And the call to turn off all personal electronic devices, plus the very firm reminder, smoking is prohibited. Absolutely no smoking.
Then you might get an update from the cockpit. In the example dialogue, the captain announces their cruising altitude, a pretty high 33,000 feet.
Wow.
And their airspeed of 400 miles per hour. Importantly, they mention the expected arrival time, which in this case is good news, 15 minutes ahead of schedule in Paris.
Nice. And they even throw in a little weather report for Paris. Clear and sunny, 25 degrees. Handy.
And finally, as you get close to your destination, there's the landing announcement. In the booklet, the captain welcomes everyone to Paris. Charles de Gaulle gives the arrival time 3:15 p.m., local temperature 25 Celsius.
And another safety reminder, stay seated, seatbelt fasten until the plane stops and the sign goes off. And, don't forget your stuff.
Yeah, take all your belongings. The on the plane section also gives you the words for what's around you. You might hear about the cockpit, where the pilots sit. You'll have your little airline tray for food.
Hopefully you won't need the life jacket or oxygen mask, but good to know where they are.
Definitely. You're in a seat. You might see the emergency exit. The control tower on the ground guides the plane. You are, of course, a passenger. And if you feel unwell, there's usually a thick bag.
Let's hope not. You might get some airline food served from a food trolley pushed down the aisle. Your bags go in the overhead locker, and you'll see the pilot and the flight attendants.
And some useful phrases for when you need help or want something. Could you help me put this bag in the overhead locker, please? Maybe for buying duty-free. Can I pay in euros?
Or just simple stuff. I'll have a black coffee, please, you might be asked. Can I see your boarding card, please?
And instructions you'll hear. Please make sure your seatbelts are fully fastened. And the classic question from the crew. What would you like to drink?
All right, the plane's landed smoothly. Now for another potentially interesting bit, going through customs.
This section focuses on a conversation between Peter, arriving from New York, and a customs officer. It's a really good illustration of the questions you might face and how to answer.
Exactly. The officer starts with practical stuff. Hi, could you put your bag on the table, please? And would you mind opening it for me, please?
Polite but direct.
Then the key questions about your trip. Did you pack it yourself? Where have you flown in from? Is this your first time in the UK? And is there anyone else traveling with you?
You'll almost certainly be asked to show your passport, and then the crucial questions, what's the purpose of your visit, and how long do you plan to stay?
Right. And also, where will you be staying? They want to know your accommodation details.
And of course, the big one. Have you got anything to declare? In the dialogue, Peter mentions a bottle of whiskey from the duty-free shop, which luckily is within his duty-free allowance. Yeah, and it's worth remembering that these allowances often change depending on where you're coming from and going to. Always a good idea to check the rules for the specific countries beforehand. Saves hassle.
Definitely. The booklet clarifies some key terms here. Luggage is just all your bags. Be aware of restrictions on things like exotic species. Generally a no-no.
Smuggle means bringing stuff in illegally to avoid tax or duty. The duty-free shop lets you buy things without tax, but only up to your duty-free allowance.
You might also hear about VAT value-added tax. If you buy expensive goods, keep your receipts because you might get a VAT refund when you leave. Again, check the rules for the country.
To declare means telling customs about goods you need to pay tax on. The green channel is if you have nothing to declare. The red channel is if you do.
And it's vital to know about banned goods, drugs, weapons, and restricted goods, which have limits, like alcohol or tobacco.
There are also some extra words listed, common things you might see or be asked about. Your passport, obviously, the customs officer, maybe things you shouldn't have like a firearm.
Or things you do have. Backpack, ID card, suitcase, hand luggage. You might walk through a metal detector or even a body scanner.
And items like a carton of cigarettes or a bottle of spirits become relevant if you've bought more than your allowance.
And the single most important, useful expression for this whole section, have you got anything to declare? Remember that one. Okay, customs cleared. Now let's check in at the hotel.
Right, this next bit features Melissa arriving at her hotel, talking to the receptionist at the front desk, sometimes called reception, covers the usual check-in.
Melissa mentions her reservation under the name Simmons. There's a little mix-up. She booked a double room, which usually means one big bed for 2 people.
Right.
For 3 nights, not a single room for 2. But the receptionist sorts it out. She's checking out on Monday morning.
The receptionist asks for her credit card and ID, standard procedure. She gets her key card and is shown where the lift is, or elevator in American English.
Melissa then asks about breakfast times and if the hotel has a swimming pool, and importantly, if they provide pool towels.
Good question. The booklet then unpacks more hotel vocabulary. A guest is you, staying at the hotel. The lobby is the main entrance area. Room service means you can order food to your room.
A suite is usually the fanciest room. You get a bill at the end. The hotel manager is the boss. Your room might have air conditioning or heating, maybe a balcony with a view.
Floor number is key for finding your room. Check-in is when you arrive. Check-out is when you leave and pay. You can ask for a wake-up call.
A porter or bellboy might help with bags. Besides single and double, there's a twin room that has 2 single beds.
Basic stuff includes a pillow, maybe a minibar with pricey snacks and drinks, or a cot if you have a baby. You use the lift or elevator, talk to the receptionist. Some rooms might have a trouser press, and you'll use a key card or maybe an old-fashioned key.
And the useful expressions for hotels, loads of them. Booking. I'd like a room for 2 nights, please. I'd like a single room, please. Arriving. I have a reservation under the name of Smith.
Asking about facilities. Does the hotel have a swimming pool? Is breakfast included? Special requests. We need a cot for the baby, please. Services. Could I have a wake-up call at 6 a.m., please?
Departure info. What time do we have to check out? What the receptionist might ask you. What name was the reservation made under?
And what they might tell you. Here's your key. It's room 458. It's on the 4th floor. The lift is just over there. Offering help. Would you like someone to help you with your bags?
Giving info. Breakfast is served between 7 and 11. Checkout is at midday. Offering more help. Shall I call a taxi for you? You might also ask about a safety deposit box or safe.
And the classic greeting, how may I help you?
Okay, moving on from comfy hotels, sometimes travel throws up less pleasant things. Our next section covers needing medical help, with a dialogue between Jack and a doctor.
Right. Jack's not feeling great. He mentions vomiting during the night, having a terrible pain in his stomach and a headache. He thinks it's a tummy bug.
The doctor takes his temperature. It's 38.5 Celsius, so a bit of a temperature. The advice is pretty standard. Drink lots of fluids and stay in bed for 48 hours.
The doctor also gives him a prescription for some pills, telling Jack to take one every 6 hours, and directs him to the nearby chemist's or pharmacy in the U.S., which is next to the bank.
The vocabulary here is obviously vital for health issues. Temperature is your body heat, normally around 37 degrees Celsius. A thermometer measures it. A high reading means a fever.
Pills are small tablets. Medicine is the general word for treatments, vomit or throw up. Well, you know what that means. A tummy bug is a stomach illness.
Headache is pain in your head. To be sore or have an ache means feeling pain. Fluids are drinks water, juice. A prescription is the doctor's note for medicine you can't just buy over the counter.
A chemist or pharmacy sells medicine. A clinic is where you see a doctor. You might also hear terms like diarrhea or constipated for digestive troubles.
Yeah. Cold, cough for breathing issues, feeling queasy, sick, or nauseous if you might vomit, feeling dizzy or unsteady.
Having the flu, getting your blood pressure checked, taking a painkiller, feeling your pulse, or having something infected.
The booklet also lists other common travel ailments. A sprained ankle, getting sunburnt, a bruise, a twisted wrist, banging your head, banged head, a swollen eye, a hurt arm, trouble breathing, a bee sting, pain in left shoulder, a cut on finger, or a rash. Quite a list.
It covers a lot. And the key useful expression is a simple observation. You've got a temperature. The booklet also reminds you of useful travel items to maybe prevent some of these issues. A map, insect repellent, a sun hat, camera, wash bag, sun cream, sunglasses, and sandals. Sensible stuff.
Okay, hopefully you won't need the doctor, but you might well want to plan your holiday. Our next deep dive takes us to a travel agent's office.
This section is quite funny, actually. It features Jim, who's never been on holiday, talking to a very patient travel agent trying to sort out his trip or journey.
Jim is really indecisive and has some very specific needs. He wants 2 weeks away over Christmas. First idea, Mozambique, but allergic to mosquitoes.
Okay, right. Agent suggests Spain. Jim says too many Brits. Okay. Solomon Islands. Flight's too long. He gets cramp.
Germany. He's not a big fan of sausages. Seriously. A ferry to Dublin. Nope. Gets seasick.
He, finally, bizarrely, settles on Brighton because he likes cold and depressing weather in December. Each to their own, I suppose.
The poor travel agent is suggesting all sorts. A luxury safari in Mozambique, a package deal or package holiday to Spain that usually includes flights, hotel, maybe meals.
A deal on flights to the Solomons, a ferry to Dublin, a train to Brighton, pointing out it's only 45 minutes from London.
For Brighton, the agent even finds a great deal on a 5-star hotel because it's low season and offers to book the train asking window or aisle seat.
But then the final twist. Jim decides to just stay in London. Visit the British Museum, Big Ben, walk across London Bridge, declares it the holiday of my dreams.
Oh, dear.
Bless him. The vocabulary covers different types of travel. A package deal includes flights, accommodation, sometimes meals. An overnight stay is just one night somewhere. A resort is a place geared towards tourists, hotels, restaurants, activities. A journey is general travel. A trip is usually for a purpose day trip, business trip, round trip.
Travel is the general verb. A voyage is usually a long sea journey or space travel. A tour guide shows you around, often on a guided tour.
A travel agency or travel agents is where you book this stuff. A visa might be needed to enter a country. A stopover is a break during a long flight. Customs, we've covered.
Exchange rate is crucial for money, and you might get seasick, carsick, or airsick. The booklet also explains meal plans. B, bed only. BB, bed and breakfast.
HB, half-board breakfast and dinner usually. And FB, full-board breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Some extra words, passport, backpack, bum bag, or fanny pack. A place that's off the beaten path is remote, not touristy, and cramp is that sudden muscle pain.
And the useful questions from the agent. By plane or train, and full-board or half-board, trying to narrow it down.
Okay, holiday plan or not, eventually you might need to go shopping. Let's see what Travel English offers here.
Our shopping scenario features Bob in a large department store. He needs help from a shop assistant or sales assistant.
Bob's trying to find several things. He asks where the cereal is, the biscuits, fruit and vegetables, the sports department, and souvenirs.
He also needs the checkout, also called the cash tell, and asks if the store's open on Sundays. Then he wants to try on a shirt.
Right, and he's told he needs the menswear department on the 4th floor because the supermarket part doesn't have changing rooms. Makes sense.
There's a funny little bit where the first assistant has to dash off for an emergency stacking tins. So Bob gets passed to Frank. His quest continues.
The vocabulary for shopping is pretty extensive. An aisle is the walkway between shelves. You use a shopping trolley, the big one with wheels, or a shopping basket, the smaller one you carry.
You pay with notes, banknotes, and coins, or by credit debit card at the checkout till or cash till. Maybe use a self-checkout or self-service checkout.
Hopefully you get a receipt. Items are on a shelf. You might need the toilets or bathroom, maybe take an escalator between floors. The boss is the shop store manager.
You might need a plastic bag or carrier bag. If you return something, you get a refund. A discount lowers the price. A coupon might give you a discount too.
Some places have a store card for loyalty points. If it's a gift, they might wrap it for you. You leave via the exit. You try clothes in the changing rooms. Big stores might have a cafeteria. Supermarkets have scales for weighing produce.
Useful shopping questions. Where's the sports department, please? I'd like to return this skirt, please. Is the cafe on the 2nd floor? Where can I get toothpaste, please?
What time do you close, please? Are you open on Sundays? Is there somewhere I can try this on, please? Do you have this in a larger, smaller size, please?
Have you got a store card? Shall I wrap it for you? And at the till. Will you be paying by cash or credit card? Useful replies you might hear. We're open from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. all through the week. The changing rooms are just over there. You can bring it back and get a refund if you keep the receipt.
All that shopping definitely works up an appetite. Let's head to a restaurant with Megan and Bob.
Right. This scene covers a typical meal out. Megan and Bob ask for a table for two. They order drinks. Glass of white wine for Megan. Bottle of Heineken for Bob.
The waiter tells them the special of the day. Mushroom soup and filet of sole with sautéed potatoes. Sounds nice.
For their actual meal, they order a starter, a salad, and a main course. Bob goes for steak, cooked well done.
Later, the waiter checks, was everything all right? They say yes, but decline coffee or dessert and ask for the bill, planning to pay by credit card. It's worth noting ordering steak well done isn't always the chef's favorite. Might be worth knowing if you're a foodie.
Good point. The dining vocabulary is essential. You look at the menu to choose your starter, first course, main course, and dessert. Some places have a set menu, fixed price, fixed choices.
You ask for the bill at the end. For steak, rare, medium, or well done. Sautéed potatoes are fried in a pan. You use a spoon, knife, fork.
You might order a side dish or a jug of water. Use a napkin. You sit at a table, maybe with a tablecloth, salt pot, toothpick, drinks in a wine glass or similar.
The waiter, male, or waitress, female, serves you. You eat off a plate, maybe soup from a bowl.
Useful restaurant expressions. Getting seated. We'd like a table for two, please. We've got a reservation under the name of Jones, making requests. Could you bring us the oil and vinegar, please?
Ordering? I'll have the soup as a starter, please. I'll have the steak for the main course. Practical needs. Where's the bathroom, please? Paying. Could we have the bill, please?
What the waiter might ask. Can I get you a drink while you're waiting? Are you ready to order? What do you want for the main course? Would you like a starter?
What would you like to drink with your meal? Would you like any wine with that? How would you like your steak? Would you like any dessert or coffee? Or just generally, what are you having?
Okay, fed and watered. Let's try navigating the city using public transport, starting with the London Underground, often called the Tube.
Our underground scenario follows Miranda, a tourist in London. She needs to get to Waterloo Station. She asks Bob for the best way, and he suggests the Tube, specifically the Northern Line.
Bob explains that while Covent Garden Tube Station is close, it's actually quicker to walk to Leicester Square Station and catch the train there. Why? Because she'd have to change lines at Leicester Square anyway if she started at Covent Garden.
Right, bit of local knowledge there. He tells her to take a southbound train, find the platform marked southbound, and it should be about 4 or 5 stops to Waterloo.
The vocabulary for the Underground is quite specific. You'll need a tube map. A carriage is one section of the train. The information board shows train times and platforms. A line is a specific route, like the Northern Line.
You sit on a train seat. Buy tickets at the ticket counter or a ticket machine. Or you might have a travel card for unlimited travel in certain zones for a set time.
You go through a turnstile to get to the platform and wait for the tube train. Underground staff can help. Look for the tube entrance, hold the door handle, follow the signs.
The network's divided into zones. Fares depend on these. You can buy a single ticket, one way, or a return ticket, round trip. A stop is a station. An escalator takes you up or down. Watch out for pickpockets in crowded areas, and trains can be delayed.
Useful underground expressions. Buying tickets. A single to Baker Street, please. A return to Waterloo Station, please. Asking directions. Which platform is it for Victoria Station, please? Do I need to change lines for Waterloo Station?
Passes. I'd like a travel card, please. Announcements you'll definitely hear. Stand clear of the doors, please. And the iconic mind the gap, please. Warning about the space between the train and platform edge.
Station announcements. The next station is Tottenham Court Road. Change here for the Northern Line. Directions you might get. You need to take the Bakerloo line. Get on the southbound train. Change at Tottenham Court Road for the Northern Line.
Sometimes, though, a taxi is just easier. Let's look at Trish's taxi, or cab ride.
Trish needs to get to the National Gallery of Art. She asks the taxi driver if it's far. He says not really, but if the traffic's bad, it can be a bit slow. Classic taxi driver response.
Trish is in a rush meeting in 10 minutes. She also checks if he has change for a €50 note. Good thinking.
She mentions it's her first time in the city, here for a conference. The driver points out some landmarks, Museum of Science, Parliament buildings.
The journey's quicker than expected. Trish declines a receipt, and the fare is $6.20.
Taxi vocab. Taxi or cab, the fare is the price. You sit in the back seat, the driver is up front. The meter shows the fare ticking up. The passenger seat is next to the driver.
Storage space at the back is the boot, UK, or trunk, US. Drivers often use a sat-nav system. Taxis wait at a taxi rank. You might have luggage. Watch out for traffic lights. And you have a dialogue with the driver.
Useful taxi expressions. Destination. I'd like to go to Station Hotel, please. Airport fares. Is there a supplement to pay from the airport? Asking for help. Could you help me with my luggage, please?
During the ride, could you open the windows, please? Could you turn up the air conditioning, please? Traffic check. Is the traffic bad at this time of the day? Paying. How much is it, please? Tipping. Keep the change.
What the driver might say, where would you like to go? Shall I drop you off just here? Stating the fare. That's £14.50, please. Offering proof of payment. Would you like a receipt?
Unfortunately, travel isn't always smooth sailing. Our next bit deals with reporting a theft to the police.
Right. Marco is at the police station reporting a theft. He checks if the crime incident report form he needs to fill out can be used for an insurance claim back home in Italy. The officer says yes.
He gives his name, address, hotel details, passport number, and contact number. The stolen item, his wallet.
It happened around 2 p.m. yesterday at Victoria Station while he was queuing for a ticket. He realized it was gone when he went to pay. He suspects an elderly man with a walking stick who kept bumping into him was the pickpocket. Sneaky.
Key crime vocabulary. A thief steals. Theft is the act. A robber often uses force. To rob is the verb. A burglar breaks into buildings. A pickpocket steals from pockets, usually unnoticed.
To steal is the general verb. Your belongings are your stuff. A suspect is someone police think did it. A victim is a person affected. An identity card or ID card proves who you are.
An insurance policy is your agreement with an insurance company. To report a crime is telling the police. You likely fill out a form, specifically a crime incident report form. To file an insurance claim is asking your insurer for money. CCTV is security camera footage.
Extra words. Police officer, police car, things that might get stolen like a suitcase, plane ticket, backpack, handbag, purse, mobile phone, or cell phone.
And the single most vital word, if you're in immediate danger, help.
Okay, after a stressful experience like that, maybe a visit to the pub is needed. Let's see what Sally does.
Sally's at the bar, ordering. She asks for a pint of Heineken, that's a standard large beer measure, and a vodka and Coke, asking for ice and lemon with it.
She also gets a packet of cheese and onion crisps, that's potato chips, and a bowl of peanuts. Classic pub snacks.
Later on, the barman male bartender shouts, "Last orders!" That's your final chance to buy a drink before they close.
And then eventually, time, which means closing time, everyone out. Sally also asks where the toilets are and gets pointed just over there on the right. Her round costs £8.50.
Pub vocabulary. You can get a half-pint glass or a pint glass of beer or a glass of wine. You order at the bar counter, maybe sitting on a bar stool. Snacks like peanuts or crisps.
The person running the pub might be the landlord, man, or landlady, woman. Buying drinks for your group is getting a round of drinks. Toilets for restrooms. Staffer, barman, bartender, male, or barwoman, bartender, female. You might ask for ice or rocks and a slice of lemon.
Useful pub expressions. Closing time. What time does the pub close? Ordering. I'll have a pint of lager, please. Lager's a type of beer. I'll have a straight whiskey, please. Just whiskey, no mixer.
I'll have a non-alcoholic beer and a vodka and orange, please. Directions. Where are the toilets, please? More orders. A bottle of Bud, please. Budweiser beer.
Social bits. Is this chair taken? Rules. Can I smoke here? Is there a non-smoking section?
Right.
Activities. Do you have darts here? Is there a pool table? Food. Do you serve food? Can I see the menu, please?
Entertainment. Are there any live bands playing tonight? Do you have quiz nights? Price. How much is that, please? Sports TV. Do you have Sky Sports? Are you going to be showing the Scotland-Ireland game? Toasting. Cheers.
What the staff might say. What would you like? What will you be having then? Would you like anything to eat with that? A pint or a half? Explaining rules. Sorry, but smoking is prohibited here. The smoking section is at the back.
Giving directions. The toilets are down the stairs and on the right. Giving the price. That'll be £22.06, please. End of the night. Last orders, please. Time, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, after the pub, maybe some culture. Let's head at the museum.
Okay, a customer's asking about opening hours. They're told 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., but closed Tuesdays. Last admission is an hour before closing. Good to know.
The entrance fee is £12 for adults, less for senior students, free for under 12s with an adult, but special exhibitions might have a supplementary fee.
The customer's interested in the photography exhibition. That's £3 extra. They ask about guided tours. There's a 2-hour private one for £50, but they decide against it.
They buy tickets for 2 adults plus the exhibition supplement, total £30. They're asked to leave their backpack in left luggage bag storage. Handbags go through the metal detector and they walk through a body scan.
Finally, they ask for directions to the main hall, the gift shop, and the cafeteria or museum cafe.
Museum words. Admission ticket, things you see like sculptures, paintings, works of art. Buy stuff at the gift shop, you're a visitor. Eat at the cafeteria. A museum guide gives info.
You might see a model of a town, a stuffed animal. Security guard keeps watch. An artifact is an old object. Memorabilia are items linked to events or people. Treasure means valuable items.
A replica is a copy. A hologram is a 3D image. A collection is a group of items. You might see a weapon, a diorama, miniature scene, an exhibit in a display cabinet in a gallery room. You might buy a museum booklet.
Useful museum questions. Where are the works of art by Picasso, please? What floor are the paintings on, please? Where's the museum shop, please? What time does the museum close, please? Are there any guided tours? Where's the photo exhibition, please? Is there a cafeteria in the museum?
Okay, next stop, we're heading to the train station.
Right. A customer wants a ticket to Wolverhampton for tomorrow. Just a single one-way. They ask about the first train time, 7.35, but the price, $42, is a bit steep.
The vendor suggests an off-peak ticket for $22. Cheaper, but it means changing trains at Barking and leaving later at 11.22. Off-peak travel is usually outside busy commuter times, hence the lower price.
Makes sense. The customer goes for the cheaper off-peak ticket and pays by credit card. They're told to check the information board for the departure platform. It's usually platform 16 for that train.
Train station words. A ticket inspector checks tickets on the train. The train runs on train tracks. The train engine pulls it. You need a ticket bought at the ticket office or a ticket machine.
Left luggage for bag storage, a sleeping car for overnight trips. The aisle is the walkway in the carriage, train car. Check the information screen for times platforms. Sit in the seat.
Frequent travelers might get a monthly pass. Bags go on the overhead luggage rack. Scan your ticket at the electronic barrier. Wait in the waiting room.
Useful train station expressions. Where can I buy a ticket? Where can I make a reservation? I'd like a single to London, please. I'd like a return to Birmingham, please. Return is a round trip.
Overnight travel. I'd like to reserve a berth in the sleeper to Edinburgh, please. Berth is a bed. Passes. I'd like a monthly season ticket, please. Journey details. Is this train direct? Do I have to change trains?
Finding your train. Which platform is it for the 14.45 to Manchester, please? How long does it take? What time does it arrive in London? Where do I have to change? Is this the train for Bath?
Practicalities. Is there a left luggage office? The ticket machine wasn't working properly. When's the next train to Brighton? Is there a waiting room here? Is there a lost luggage office? Where's the information desk, please?
Cheaper tickets. I'd like a cheap day return to London, please. On the train. Is this seat taken? I think this is my seat. I'd like an off-peak ticket, please.
Announcements. I'm sorry, but the train is delayed. The next train arriving on platform 6 is the 13.48 to Brighton. You are in carriage number 10. This is a non-smoking train. Tickets, please. If you have a wrong ticket, you'll have to pay a surcharge excess fare.
Okay, how about some evening entertainment? Let's head at the theater.
A customer wants tickets for the musical Let It Be. They ask about Friday, but it's fully booked, sold out.
Okay, how about Thursday? There's a matinee performance at 3 p.m. That's an afternoon show, and an evening performance at 8 p.m.
Ticket prices vary by seating area. Stalls, 65 comes, are downstairs near the stage. Dress circle, 45 fives is the first balcony. Upper circle, 35 fives is the highest balcony. There's a 10% discount for under 16s.
The customer books 2 stalls, seats for the matinee, getting row H, seats 1 and 2. The show lasts about 3 hours, including a half-hour interval or intermission, the break.
Total cost £130, paid by credit card. They check when doors open 45 minutes before the show. They also get a program, the booklet about the show.
Theater words. The stage is where it happens. The building is the theater. Actors perform. The backdrop is the scenery at the back. The director is in charge. The audience watches. Scenery is the set decoration.
The orchestra pit is where musicians sit. Stalls, UK, or orchestra stalls, US, are ground floor seats. Costumes are the actors' clothes. Dress circle, UK, or mezzanine, US, is the first balcony. Upper circle, UK, or balcony, US, is the top level.
You might see a musical with songs or a play, spoken drama. It's a performance of a script, words, maybe with a score. The playwright wrote it. Full house means sold out.
Props are objects used on stage. Actors learn their lines during rehearsals, practice for their role, character. Enthusiastic applause is a standing ovation during the curtain call, actors bowing at the end. A pantomime is a traditional Christmas show.
The interval or intermission is the break. A matinee performance is in the afternoon, seats are in a row. You might buy a program.
The booklet even mentions theater superstitions. Never say good luck, say break a leg, and don't say Macbeth in a theater. Weird, huh?
Very useful phrases for describing shows. It's about, it's set in, it's written by, it's directed by, it's a version of a book by, it's a musical adaptation of. Some of the most memorable songs are.
Right, time to send something back home, perhaps. Let's go at the post office.
A customer wants to send a parcel to Manchester. It gets weighed under 2 kilograms. They ask about delivery time.
Options are given. First class, next day, more expensive. Second class, 3-4 days, cheaper. And registered post, guaranteed next day by 9 a.m., needs a signature, most secure and priciest.
The customer chooses registered post and has to fill out a form with the recipient's details. Total cost, £12. They also ask where to put pre-stamped letters. There's a post box, but are told just to leave them at the counter.
Post office words, letter box for home delivery, packing material, the post office building, a package or parcel, pigeonholes for sorting mail, litter boxes, slots and doors, mail trolley, postal worker, post box, public mailbox, postal van, stamp machine.
Registered post, secure service, postmark, official stamp, a queue, line, stamp, scales for weighing, padded envelope, a letter.
Useful post office questions. Is there a post office near here? What time is the post office open? Where can I buy stamps? Where can I get an envelope, please? Sending mail. I would like to send this letter to the U.S. I would like to send this letter special delivery. I would like to send a certified letter. I would like to send a parcel to Australia. Buying stamps. I'd like 16 stamps for Japan, please.
Finding mailboxes. Is there a post box near here, please? Specific services. I'd like to send this parcel registered post. Supplies. Do you have any self-adhesive envelopes? Collecting mail. I've come to collect a parcel, please.
What you might hear back. That'll be X amount, please. Shall I leave it here for you? There's a post box just around the corner. Just put your name and address on the back, please. Please complete this form. This parcel is cash on delivery. First class or second class. I just need to weigh it on the scales.
Okay, maybe some lighter entertainment now. A trip at the cinema.
Right. A customer wants tickets for 3 adults and a child. 6 o'clock session, showing of Murder at Midnight. They specify the normal version, not 3D.
They'd like seats in the middle, if possible. They get row J, seats 10 to 13. They ask about the film genre. It's a murder mystery, rated PG-13.
They mention having seen the trailer, the preview. Total cost $26, paid by credit card. Then they ask for directions to the toilets and the snack bar. Standard cinema trip.
Cinema vocabulary. Seat, the cinema or movie theater. The cashier selling tickets. An usher might show you to your seat. Seats are in a row. You eat popcorn. The film comes from a projector.
Tickets from the ticket office or box office. Maybe it's a 3D film. You have a ticket, watch the screen. A specific showing is a session. Afternoon show is a matinee performance. First showing is a premiere.
The music is the soundtrack. You keep the ticket stub. You see a trailer beforehand. Good cinemas have surround sound speakers. Buy drinks and snacks at the snack bar.
The booklet lists film genres. Action, adventure, comedies, gangster, crime, dramas, historical dramas, war, horror, musicals, sci-fi, westerns. It covers pretty much everything.
Useful cinema questions. What time does the film start? I reserved the tickets online. Have you got any seats in the middle row? Could you put us a bit further away from the screen? Are there any tickets for the 6 o'clock session?
What staff might say. Where would you like to sit? Would you like to sit a bit further forward? I'm sorry, but there aren't any tickets left for the 6 o'clock session.
Okay, for a different kind of night out, let's visit the nightclub.
Jackie and a friend arrive, but the bouncer, that's the security guy, says it's a bit full and they'll have to wait. Bummer.
They ask the closing time, 3 a.m. They're asked for ID. Jackie's 20, shows her ID card. They pay inside of the cashier, £20 each after 11 p.m., but it includes 2 free drinks.
They ask about the music. It's house, R&B, rap, hip-hop, standard club mix. They ask for the cloakroom to leave a coat, then head to the dance floor.
Nightclub words. Disco ball, the bar, DJ's mixing desk, bar stool, atmospheric lights, big speakers, glass of water, glass of wine, maybe a stage, the dance floor, the bouncer, the DJ, the bartender.
Drinks. Bottle of beer, soft drink, other stuff, widescreen TV, cloakroom, the clientele, customers buying a round of drinks, the toilets, gents, ladies, maybe live music, drinks on the rocks with ice, spirits like vodka whiskey, beer in a pint glass, and show your ID.
Typical mixed drinks. Gin and tonic, G&T, vodka and orange, rum and coke, margarita, scotch and soda.
Useful phrases for getting drinks. What are you having? What can I get you? Would you like another drink? I'll have a rum and coke, please. I'll have the same again, please. Declining. No, I'm fine, thanks. Offering to pay. I'll get this round. These are on me. Ordering beer. A pint of lager, please. Half a lager, please.
Other chat. The music's a bit loud, isn't it? I love this song. Have you been here before? Do you come here often? It's really crowded tonight. Leaving. I think I'm going to head off home.
Right. For something maybe a bit more relaxed, let's pop into at the coffee shop.
Jerry's ordering. He wants a cappuccino and a decaf latte, both regular size.
He specifies the milk. Semi-skimmed for the cappuccino, whole milk for the latte. Declines extra flavorings like hazelnut or vanilla.
He also gets food. Piece of cheesecake and a chocolate muffin, asking for them to take away. Total, £16.99.
He tries to pay with a £50 note, but the assistant doesn't have enough change, so he uses a £20 note instead. He asks where the sugar is, it's on the table, gets his change, says goodbye.
Coffee shop words. Coffee shop, donut, cash till, waiter, waitress, soft drink, bill check, cupcake, cup of coffee, muffin, staff wear an apron, look at the menu, maybe get a sandwich. Drinks made at the bar are, sit on a chair seat, you're the customer.
Types of coffee. Espresso, cappuccino, Americano, decaf, skinny latte with skimmed milk, mocha, chocolatey, white coffee with milk, black coffee, no milk, latte.
Milk types. Skimmed, no fat. Semi-skimmed, reduced fat. Whole, full fat.
Useful coffee shop questions. Could I have a drop of milk with that, please? Is this chair taken? Is anyone sitting here? Is this chair free? Where are the toilets, please?
A staff might say, can I take your order, please? What would you like to drink? Would you like anything to eat? Would you like any sugar or saccharin with that?
Okay, shifting gears now to a different scenario. The business trip.
Right. This one features Randy and Flynn from a rock band. They're in the airport's executive lounge, waiting to fly business class to New York for a meeting with a record company. Fancy.
Flynn's acting pretty flash. His mom paid for the plane tickets and a suite at the Hilton. He's expecting all the perks. Wifey, cable TV, a trouser press, 24-hour room service.
Randy feels a bit awkward about Flynn's mom paying, but Flynn drops the bombshell. Randy's actually paying for the hotel with his credit card. Flynn's convinced they'll get a record deal and become millionaires.
They've got a tight schedule, a business lunch with Rocco, the studio head, right after check-in. Randy's worried, though. Flynn's on his fourth glass of champagne, and Randy fears a repeat performance, shouting abuse, trashing the hotel room, throwing the TV in the pool.
Oh, dear. Their clothes are different, too. Flynn's in tight leather trousers. Randy's in a proper suit and tie. Flynn's booked a limo. Randy wants a taxi.
Randy wants to keep receipts for expenses, but Flynn doesn't care. As boarding time nears, Flynn reveals his grand plan. Make a scene on the plane, get arrested, all for publicity. Randy must be thrilled.
Business travel words. Chauffeur, airplane, suit, tie, trouser press, travel iron, hair dryer, wash bag for toiletries, tablet, suit bag carrier, mobile phone, smartphone, passport, flight attendant.
More specific terms. Airport, carry-on baggage, hand luggage, shoe polish, laptop, record deal, tight, schedule, take it easy, relax, hangover, shout abuse at, trash, a room, suit, clothes, make a scene, publicity.
The booklet mentions useful phrases related to business travel, but doesn't list them here.
Okay, let's move on to something more practical. Renting a car.
Sally wants to rent a car for the day, just a normal four-door car. She's offered a Peugeot 206.
She asked the price. £80 per day, includes unlimited mileage and insurance. Good deal. She asks about the excess. That's the amount she'd pay first if there's an accident. It's £200.
She fills in a form, shows her driving license, her credit card gets swiped, she gets the keys. The car's in Bay 62, parking space 91. It's a blue Peugeot 206 station wagon, or estate car.
Car rental words. Driver's license, car's bodywork, credit card, number plate, registration plate, keys, parking bay, ignition, boot trunk, car park, types of car, saloon sedan, estate, station wagon, minivan, people carrier, SUV, 4x4, convertible, truck, lorry, pickup truck, coupe, van.
Useful rental expressions. I'd like to rent a car, please. How much is it per hour, day, kilometer? How much is the insurance? Do you need to see my driver's license? Can I leave the car in another city? Is it petrol or diesel? Pointing out damage. There appears to be a dent in the bodywork. There's a scratch at the back.
Finding the car. Where is the car? What's the car registration number? Returning it. Where do I have to leave it? What do I do with the keys? Car type. Is it manual or automatic? Uh-oh. Mistakes. Sorry, but I put diesel in the petrol tank. Sorry, I crashed the car. Written the car off to totaled the car. The car's a write-off. Can you give me another one?
What the company says. It comes with a full tank of petrol. Please return it with a full tank. The keys are here. The car is parked in Bay 24, parking space B23. Phone this number if you have difficulties. The registration number is PY24TZ. Process. Just fill out this form. May I see your driving license? I'll just take down your details. It's got unlimited mileage. I need to swipe your credit card. You will be liable for the excess.
Right, now let's hop on the bus.
Sam wants to go to Trafalgar Square. He checks with the bus driver. Is this the right bus? Yes. He asks for a single ticket. Tries to pay with a tenner.
But the driver needs exact change. Common on some city buses. Sam finds the right money, gets his ticket.
He asks if the bus stops at Oxford Street. No, he needs the number 34 from across the road. Does he need to change for Trafalgar Square? No, this bus is direct, and he can walk to Oxford Street from there anyway.
He asks the driver to tell him where to get off for Trafalgar Square, then promptly forgets his ticket. The driver has to remind him. Classic.
Plus words. Coins, notes, bus lane, double-decker, bus station, bus stop, ticket machine, the bus driver, timetable, seat, empty seat, handrail, bus ticket machine, on the bus.
Useful bus questions. Which is the bus for London? Where is the bus stop? What time is the next bus to Birmingham? What's the best way to get to Halifax by bus? What time does the last bus for Liverpool leave? Where can I get the number 34 bus? Where do I get off for the Science Museum?
How long does it take? Where do I have to get off? How long do I have to wait? Do you know when the next bus is coming? Have we passed Oxford Street? Do you have a bus timetable? Which bus do I need? Do I have to change buses? Where does the bus leave from? Can you tell me where to get off? Do I have to get off here? Can you tell me when we get to Hyde Park, please?
What you might hear. You must have the exact change. You have to press the button to stop the bus. This ticket hasn't been stamped. You're on the wrong bus. You need to take the number 3. This seat is for the elderly only. Would you like a single or a return? It's the 3rd stop after this one. You aren't allowed to bring bikes on the bus. Where are you getting off?
Okay, let's explore in the city.
Natalie's at a tourist office in New York asking for recommendations. What should she see?
The officer suggests the Met, MoMA for art, the Empire State Building for the view, trying city diners for burgers, seeing a Broadway show, Wicked Chicago mentioned.
And for live music, maybe alternative stuff at CBGB where Blondie and Talking Heads played. Cool recommendation.
Examples of city things. The underground, a hotel, a traffic jam, a museum, a skyscraper, a restaurant, a pub, traffic lights, a building, a theater, an alley, a sign. Using landmarks when giving directions in cities is super helpful, by the way.
Yeah, street signs can be tricky. Repeating directions back is also a good idea.
Useful city questions. Where can I find a bus timetable, please? Can you recommend any good hotels? How do I get to the city center? Is there public parking near the museum? Have you got a map of the subway? Where's the best place to go shopping for clothes? What are the main tourist attractions?
What you might hear. There's a new art exhibition this Sunday. There's a street festival all next week. There's a new Thai restaurant that's just opened. The best way to get to the center from here is to take bus 64. Most of the museums are in the center of the town.
Right. Let's escape the city now and head in the country.
Thomas calls a bed and breakfast, asking about a stay. He needs directions from the station.
He's told, bus 35 from Appleton Street, get off. At Cherry Turnpike, house number 16, third on the right. Look for the blue and king sign. Very specific.
He asks about sightseeing. There's a medieval castle nearby, 20 minutes away, with guided tours. What about souvenirs? Yes, a little shop in the village sells traditional ones.
Finally, room availability. He needs 2 rooms with twin beds for Saturday the 12th. Good news, they're available.
Countryside things. A mountain, a flower, hills, a bridge, a field, a barn, a fence, a horse, a chicken, maybe some fishing, a garden. Lots of grass.
Useful country questions. What's the best way to get to the country? Is there a bus from here? How long does it take? Is there any place to eat there? Should we take some food? Are there any good walks? What's a typical souvenir from here? Is there a guided tour? Do we have to tip the guide? How do we get to that restaurant?
What you might hear, there's a castle. The view from the top of the hill is breathtaking. The scenery around here is magnificent. You can visit the castle. It gets a bit touristy in August, but it's great for most of the year.
Okay, for a longer stay, maybe you're renting a shared flat.
Petra is looking at a room in a shared flat or apartment. The landlord is showing her around.
The living room is furnished. The kitchen has a fridge and an oven, but no washing machine. There's a laundrette nearby, though.
There are 3 other female tenants. 1 German, 2 Chinese. Two are students, one's a journalist. Petra sees the largest bedroom. It gets afternoon sun.
The money stuff. Deposit is 1 month's rent in advance. Monthly rent is £600. So £1,800 up front. Petra's interested. The landlord says she can sign the contract now if she wants.
Shared flat words. Laundrette, flat apartment, oven, refrigerator, fridge, tenant, landlord, landlady, furniture, table, bed, wardrobe, sofa, kitchen stuff, dishes, descriptions, furnished, fully equipped kitchen, bathroom.
Useful questions for a landlord. I'm looking for a room in a shared flat. What time can I come around to see it? How many tenants live there? Are the tenants working professionals or students? Will I be sharing a room? Is it safe? When is the rent due?
What the landlord might say, there are 2 common rooms. The rent is £600 per calendar month. Are you a student or do you work? The average electricity bill is £20 a month. You can split the deposit if you live in a double room. There are 3 bathrooms. When can you sign a contract? Key terms, rent, deposit.
Right. Once you're settled somewhere, you'll probably be doing some sightseeing.
Margaret and Janet are planning their first day sightseeing in Rome. Margaret wants to see the Trevi Fountain and the Spanish Steps.
Janet fancies the Vatican and notes there might be a reduction for EU citizens on the entrance fee. Worth checking.
They decide, Fountain in the morning, Vatican in the afternoon. They mention Rome has loads of churches and an old part of town.
They've got a map from their hostel with tourist attractions circled. They want to see everything, and they debate having pizza for breakfast or lunch, only in Rome.
Sightseeing essentials vocabulary, passport, suitcase, batteries, ID card, guidebook, toothbrush, toothpaste, headphones, maybe see a monument. Carry stuff in a knapsack, backpack, rucksack. Have traveler's insurance, money, camera, attraction ticket, maybe a raincoat, your wallet, and definitely a map.
Useful sightseeing questions. I want to go to the zoo. How do I get to the church? What time do they open, close? Is it open today? How much is the entrance fee? How much is it for students, retired people? About places. How many churches are there here? Is that church old? What religion is it? Are there any monuments nearby? What does that one commemorate? When was that built? How old is that building? Are there many statues here? Whose statue is that? Who is Heshe?
Time for some retail therapy, perhaps. Let's go to the clothes shop.
Betty's looking for trousers, waist 28, black or dark blue. She goes to the changing rooms to try them on.
She asks to try size 30 as well. Finds the 30 fits better. She also wants a shirt to go with the trousers. Tries one on, likes it.
Decides quickly, I'll take them both. Total $68.10, pays by card. Efficient shopping.
Clothes words. Jacket, suit, dress, blouse, sweater, pullover, jersey jumper, shorts, overalls, raincoat, waistcoat, socks, trousers, pants, shirt, skirt, cardigan, shoes, blazer. Pay at the checkout counter. Try things in the changing room.
Useful clothes shopping questions. Have you got these trousers in blue? I'm looking for a size 32A, size 10 dress. Material. Is it 100% cotton? Finding your way. Where's the checkout counter? Size and color. Have you got this in a bigger, larger, smaller size, different color? Trying on. Where are the changing rooms, please? Could I try these on, please? Returns. I'd like to take these trousers back, please. Payment. Do you take credit cards? Matching items. Have you got a shirt to go with these trousers? Price. How much is this? Is this on sale?
What staff might say. What shirt shoe size do you take? Shall I get you a bigger size? The changing rooms are just over there. You can get a refund if you keep the receipt. We take all major credit cards. There's a 25% reduction on the price.
Handling money abroad often means a visit at the bank.
Jane wants to pay money into her account. She needs a paying in slip. That's the form for deposits. She also wants to apply for a credit card. Needs another form.
She wants to exchange U.S. dollars. As the exchange rate, it's 0.50615 pence per dollar. She figures out $100 gets her about 50.61. Ask about fees. There's a 2.5% commission charge.
She decides to just keep the dollars for her next U.S. trip. Fair enough.
Bank words, alarm, bank, safe, traveler's check, security guard, bank manager, coin, cash machine, ATM, pounds, cashier, credit card, purse, dollars, check, wallet, euros, yen, checkbook, bag of money, vault, PIN number, note bill, piggy bank. Lots there. Useful bank expressions. Deposits. I'd like to pay this money into my account, please. Withdrawals. I'd like to take 600 euros out, please. Transfers. I'd like to transfer some money from my current account, please. Charges. Are there any bank charges? Cashing checks. I'd like to cash this check, please. Applications. I'd like to apply for a mortgage and overdraft a new credit card. Interest. How much interest does it pay? What's the interest rate? Problems. I've lost need to cancel my credit card urgently. Changing money. Could you change this note for me? Could I have some larger small bills? Please give it to me in 20 euro notes. Could I have the rest in change? Exchange rates. What's the exchange rate for euros to British pounds? What the bank might say. The exchange rate is 0.748. We charge 2% commission rate. The current interest rate is 4%. There are no bank charges. Bad news. I'm afraid the account is overdrawn. Clarification. Which account would you like to transfer from? Instructions. Could you sign and date the check, please? Key terms. Bank account. Pay can flip. Exchange rate. Bank charges.
Okay, for something completely different, for winter sports fans, let's visit at the ski shop.
Sally wants to rent skis and ski boots. She gives her shoe size 40, tries on boots, they're a bit tight.
She gets a bigger size, tries them with thick socks, much better. She says she's got some skiing experience, so they give her shorter skis, apparently easier to control, even if you're not a beginner.
The bindings, which attach boots to skis, are adjusted. She fills out a form, swipes her credit card, ready to hit the slopes.
Ski shop words. Ice skates, ski sticks, poles, ski boots, snowboard, ski suits, ski resort, ski hat, chairlift, ski goggles, earmuffs, skis, scarves, skier, skiing instructor, ski rental shop, figure skating, cable car, snowboarding, ski slope, snow, gloves, anorak jacket.
Useful ski shop expressions. Renting. I'd like to rent some skis and ski boots, please. Sizing. Can I have one size bigger? Equipment specifics. Have you got any longer, shorter skis? Have you got a snowboard? Clothing. Do you rent out ski clothing? Fit issues. The boots are a bit tight. I take a size 42. Passes. Where can I get a ski pass? Rental duration. How long do you want to rent them for?
What the assistant might ask. What's your shoe size? Does that fit okay? How does that feel? Instructions. Stand up, sit down, take off your shoes, please. Try these on. Skill level. Are you a good skier? Equipment provided. These sticks should be all right. I'll just need to adjust them.
And finally, for those little health needs or minor emergencies, let's go at the chemist's.
Jane's looking for antiseptic cream for cuts and scrapes. Finds it in the next aisle. She also wants something for an upset stomach. She's shown some pills and buys a packet.
Then she asks for cough medicine, which is near the other tablets. Lastly, she asks about antibiotics for a chest infection, but is told correctly that she needs a prescription from a GP for those.
Chemist's words. First aid kit, contact lens solution, chemist pharmacy, gauze, chemist sign, antiseptic cream, cotton wool, chemist pharmacist, aspirin, tablets, plaster band-aids, sticking plaster, cough medicine, nose drops, thermometer, liquid antiseptic disinfectant, sleeping pills, vitamins, eardrops, laxatives, suppositories, bandage, cotton buds, insect spray, a whole medicine cabinet.
Useful chemist questions. Finding one. Is there a chemist pharmacy nearby? When does the chemist open close? Asking for help. I need something for a cold, constipation, diarrhea, febra, headache, and insect bite. Describing problems. I've got a bit of sunburn and upset stomach. What would you recommend? Finding specific items. Where are the plasters? Do you have any thermometers?
What staff might say. The contact lens solution is just over there. The key question. Do you have a prescription? Stock issues. I'm sorry, but we haven't got any cotton buds at the moment. Prescription required. You'll need a prescription for this. Recommendations. This medicine should help clear it up. This works well on rashes, referring you. You'll need to talk to a doctor about that. Checking again. Have you got a prescription for this?
And for our very last scenario, maybe it's a spruce up at the hairdresser's.
Jim wants a haircut, no appointment. He's taken to the wash basins first.
He just wants a trim, specifically. Trim the fringe or bangs, take a bit off the back and sides, leave the top longer, tidy the neckline, wants it longer on top.
He asks them not to take too much off the sides, wants some hair over his ears. After the cut, he checks it, asks for a bit more off the back, but definitely leave the sideburns.
Hairdresser words. Parting, hairdresser, hairstylist, fringe, bangs, sideburns, wigs, scissors, barber for men, hairdresser's barbershop, brush, conditioner, beard, hair trimmer, comb, mustache, basins, wash basin sink, hair dryer, highlights, razor, hairspray, shampoo, hair gel, a haircut.
Useful hairdresser expressions, what you want. I'd like to have a haircut, a trim up, blow dry. Color. I'd like my hair dyed blonde, black, brown. Style specifics. I'd like to have a short back and sides me hair thinned out, a curly hair curled. Could you straighten my hair? Trim details. Could you take a bit off the back and sides cut off any split end stake, a bit off the top? Length. Leave it a little longer, cut it a little shorter at the front, back, top, sides. Specifics. Leave the sideburns. Approval. Just leave it like that. That's great, thanks.
What the hairdresser might ask, say, would you like me to wash it first? Would you like some conditioner? Come this way, please. How would you like it? Cut and blow dry. What can I do for you? Styling. Would you like some hair gel?
Sometimes, though, the biggest challenge is simply giving directions, or maybe getting them.
Huh, yeah. Lenny's trying to find the Cock and Bull pub, asks George. George is confident, at first. Gives directions involving a first left, a roundabout. No, wait.
Then it's a parallel street, walk 500 meters, right at an old church, hang on. Then 400 meters, left at a roundabout, see a bank, pub's next door. Oh, but that pub moved 15 years ago.
George claims he practically lives at the Bear and Bull. No, the Cock and Bull. Then finally admits he has no idea where the Cock and Bull is. Hopeless.
Direction words. Go straight on. Turn right left at the traffic lights crossroads roundabout. Take the next second road on the left-right location. It's at the end of the road next to between opposite, just behind, just around the corner.
More specific. 4 blocks down the street on this side of the road. Relationships between streets. Bank Street is parallel. Petty Street is perpendicular to this street. Actions. Cross over the road and then turn right. Location. It's on the corner of Market Street and Baker Street. Again, using landmarks helps. Repeating directions back definitely helps avoid confusion like Lenny had.
The most useful phrase, if you're truly stuck, I'm lost. And asking, I'm trying to get to the museum. Do you know where the post office is? What's the best way to get to the train station?
Okay, let's quickly talk about the car itself.
Sarah's showing Michelle her new secondhand car. Michelle's observant. The bodywork is scratched. A headlight is broken.
The gears are stiff jumps from first to third.
Yeah.
And the brakes don't work.
Oh.
Sarah uses the handbrake. Yikes.
Sarah insists it starts, was a bargain at 300 pounds and only 14 years old. Michelle just wants to get out and walk. Can't blame her.
Car parts,
Right.
Wheel, petrol tank, gas tank, boot trunk, tire, driving seat, accelerator, car keys, roof, windscreen wipers, steering wheel, wing mirror, side view mirror, bonnet hood, battery, door, gears, clutch.
Useful car phrases. I need to fill up the petrol tank. The rear view mirror is broken. You need to lift the bonnet up. The battery is low. The tire is flat. I can't get it into first gear. The door won't open. Don't forget to put the handbrake on. Lights. Put your headlights on. Dim your lights. Wipers. You need to turn your windscreen wipers on. Seating. You can sit in the passenger seat. Damage. The bodywork is scratched.
And finally, driving in the city. Potentially stressful.
Sally argues with a pedestrian, Alan. He says she went through a red light on a pedestrian crossing and her wheel was on the curb. Not good.
Sally makes excuses. Tired, traffic jam, no sleep. She's also lost driven into a dead-end street or cul-de-sac.
Alan reluctantly gives directions. 350 meters straight, left at traffic lights, straight past speed bumps, roundabout, first right, over a bridge, through a tunnel, right, right, then it's on the left. Complex. Sally tries to memorize it.
City driving words. Pedestrian crossing, rush hour, curb, speed bump, turning, tunnel, dead-end street, cul-de-sac, traffic light, zebra crossing, another pedestrian crossing type, roundabout, bridge, traffic jam.
Useful city driving expressions. There's a zebra crossing just ahead. Take the first turning on the right. This is a dead-end street. You need to go over the bridge. The rush hour traffic is terrible. We got caught in a traffic jam. You need to go through the tunnel, turn right at the roundabout.
Well, that was quite a comprehensive tour through the essentials of travel English, wasn't it? We've hit airports, hotels, transport, shopping, health, socializing.
Yeah, pretty much everything. From renting cars to finding a pub, dealing with customs to ordering coffee. It's all based on those excerpts from the Travel English booklet.
Exactly. So this deep dive has hopefully given you a really practical guide. Lots of essential phrases for all sorts of travel situations you might find yourself in when you're in English-speaking countries. We've tried to give a bit more context than just lists of words.
Definitely. So as you gear up for your next trip, we really encourage you to maybe revisit the bits that feel most relevant to where you're going or, areas where you just want to feel a bit more confident.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with.
Yeah.
Think about how knowing these everyday phrases isn't just about making things easier, like ordering food or finding your hotel. It can actually, really enrich the whole experience, can it?
Oh, absolutely. It allows for those smoother interactions with locals, gives you that bit more confidence to maybe explore off the beaten path.
Exactly. You feel more comfortable navigating new places, maybe strike up conversations you wouldn't otherwise have. It can lead to those unexpected aha moments that make travel so memorable.